Hello everybody.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of the GSE&C English podcast. My name is Owen.
I'm Lawton.
And today we have another great episode for you about negotiations.
Very important skill.
Indeed. So, are you any good at negotiating?
I think I'm okay. Not bad. What about you?
I'm so-so, I think. I always lose when negotiating with my daughter.
With the kids, that's the hardest.
6 years old, but she is an expert negotiator. It's incredible. My 3-year-old's actually pretty good as well. So today we have a dialogue. And so we have some comprehension questions.
Yeah,
so
we
what
do.
What are those questions?
Okay, so let's take a look at our 3 comprehension questions for today. So our first question is, what does Marilyn want to discuss? What does Marilyn want to discuss? Number 2, what kind of delivery is Dylan offering? What kind of delivery is Dylan offering? And finally, number 3, who is Dylan going to speak to about the delivery? Who is Dylan going to speak to about the delivery? That's it.
Okay, so let's listen out for the answers to those questions in the dialogue.
Hi Dylan, it's Marilyn from ABC Corporation.
Oh, hi Marilyn. Did you get our bid for the work?
Yes, we did. We liked your offer, but we would like to discuss the terms.
The price offered was already our rock bottom price, but we value your business, so I'm sure we can make an agreement.
Good. If you could speed up the delivery, then we would be happier.
We might be able to offer you the expedited delivery. How about if we deliver in 6 weeks instead of 2 months?
That's an attractive offer, but we were hoping for 1 month.
You're driving a hard bargain. We would need to work round the clock to meet that deadline.
I understand, but we really need the work done quickly. Can you meet me halfway at 5 weeks?
I think that could be possible. Let me speak to the production manager and get back to you.
Great. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay, have a great day.
Okay, so thanks very much to Dylan and Marilyn for reading that dialogue for us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the answers to those comprehension questions.
Okay.
Okay, so our first question was, what does Marilyn want to discuss? And what was the answer to that one?
I think she wanted to discuss the terms of the deal or the bid.
Exactly, yeah, the terms of the deal or the terms of the agreement, but the terms, exactly. So number 2, what kind of delivery is Dylan offering?
Dylan offered an expedited delivery.
Yeah, exactly right. An expedited delivery. They're going to speed it up, right?
Okay, yeah.
And finally, number 3, who is Dylan going to speak to about the delivery?
He is going to speak to the production manager.
Exactly right. Yeah, so hopefully you got the answers to those comprehension questions. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some key expressions.
Exactly. Okay, so we have 4 expressions from the dialogue that hopefully you heard and picked up today. They're all, they're related to negotiation and price and things like that, all right? So our first expression, or our first idiom is rock bottom price. In the dialogue, it says, the price offered was already our rock bottom price. The price offered was already our rock bottom price. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so rock bottom just basically means as low as it can possibly go, just the lowest.
Yeah.
So when we say the price offered was already our rock bottom price, it means we cannot offer a lower price. It's the lowest it can possibly be. So another example of this, you could say something like, after the market collapsed, prices hit rock bottom. After the market collapsed, prices hit rock bottom. After the market collapsed, prices hit rock bottom. Okay, so what was our next expression?
Our next expression was to drive a hard bargain. Drive a hard bargain. In the dialogue, it says, "You're driving a hard bargain." We would need to work around the clock to meet that deadline. You're driving a hard bargain. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so that's an interesting expression, to drive a hard bargain, and it basically means to expect a lot in exchange for what you pay or do. So it basically means to kind of negotiate very intensely, I guess.
Yeah.
So to drive a hard bargain, another example sentence would be, he drives a hard bargain, or he drove a hard bargain, but we finally made a deal. He drives a hard bargain, but we finally made a deal. He drives a hard bargain, but we finally made a deal.
Yeah. So if someone's a really strong, fierce negotiator, you could say they drive a hard bargain.
Exactly.
Okay. Our next expression was to work round or work around the clock. Work round or around the clock. In the dialogue, it says we would need to work around the clock to meet that deadline. We would need to work around the clock to meet that deadline.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so work around the clock just means to work day and night, kind of to work 24 hours a day, so all the way around the clock. So another example for that expression might be, doctors and nurses worked around the clock to help those injured in the train crash. Doctors and nurses worked around the clock to help those injured in the train crash. Doctors and nurses worked around the clock to help those injured in the train crash.
Yeah. Now, often when we use that, we wouldn't necessarily mean we are working 24 hours a day.
True.
But you just use it to say, oh, we had to do lots of overtime. We had to work really hard. We work around the clock.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Our last expression was to meet halfway or to meet in the middle. In the dialogue, it says, can you meet me halfway at 5 weeks? So to meet halfway or to meet in the middle. What does that mean?
Right, so basically to meet halfway or meet in the middle, it just means to compromise, and it means to compromise in kind of the most fair position, so it's exactly in the middle of the two sides, right?
Yeah.
So another example might be, the buyers wanted to bring the price down from $15,000 to $10,000, so I offered to meet them halfway at $12,500. The buyers wanted to bring the price down from $15,000 to $10,000, so I offered to meet them halfway at $12,500. The buyers wanted to bring the price down from $15,000 to $10,000, so I offered to meet them halfway at $12,500.
To meet halfway or meet in the middle.
Right.
Yeah, so meet them at halfway. Yeah, all right, so it's a good negotiation tip there. All right. Okay, so those are our key expressions. Hopefully those are very helpful for you. Try to use those when you are in negotiations in the future. Now, let's check out a common error that we hear again and again from English speakers in the company.
This one might be very surprising.
Yeah. Right, so our common error today. I think this might come as a surprise to some people.
I think so too.
Yeah, so our common error today is the use of the word expedite.
Right.
I know there are people in the company whose job is
To expedite.
They are expediters.
Right.
But unfortunately, these people I hear making this mistake all the time, misusing the word expedite.
Right.
So what's that common error we often hear?
Right. So the common error is to use the word expedite with a person. So for example, I had to expedite the vendor.
Yeah.
In English, this is actually incorrect. And the reason is you cannot use the word expedite with a person. You can't say to expedite a person. What can you expedite?
You can expedite a process.
Yeah.
So you could expedite delivery, you could expedite manufacture, you could expedite any process.
Yeah, production.
So, production. Yeah, you need something sped up. You need something to be done more quickly. You need it expedited.
Right.
Yeah. In the dialogue, it says, we might be able to offer you the expedited delivery.
Right, the expedited delivery.
So that's correct.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So just to take a look at that common sentence that we hear,
Yeah.
We have to expedite the vendor.
Yeah.
How could we say that more naturally?
I think it would be more natural to say, I need to contact the vendor to get them to expedite the process.
Right.
Or I need to contact the vendor to pressure them to expedite the process. Pressure is obviously stronger than get. That'd be pushing them to do something.
Right. So pressure them to expedite the process or get them to expedite the process.
That's it.
That's our common error.
Okay, so thank you so much to everybody for watching again this week. Before we go, let's just summarize the expressions we learned today.
Yep.
Lawton, what were our 4 key expressions?
So we had 4 key expressions, which were number 1, rock bottom price. Number 2, drive a hard bargain. Number 3, work around the clock or work round the clock. And number 4, meet halfway or meet in the middle. We also had a common error today. What was that common error?
The common error was the expression to expedite the vendor, and that we should say to expedite a process.
Right.
Okay. So again, thank you very much, all of you. As always, make sure you go to EP and you check out the worksheet and the script for the entire dialogue, and read it carefully. Answer the questions, send them in to us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, we always really appreciate the comments. Also, don't forget about the other English offerings we have here at GS, and in particular, I hope everyone is participating actively in the new Weiwa Voca program. So please, make sure to be doing that every day, because one new word every day will make a real big difference in the long term.
Indeed. Okay, so see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.